um, Tim something, who, when we ran a background check on him, was a cross-dressing prostitute, which I thought was funny.
Are you talking about Tim White?
I could be talking about that first. Is that who that is? Or is it? But and what I'm accused of now, this is really really good. I'm accused of being, let's see, what am I? I'm a Zionist agent. I'm a Jewish Zionist agent who hangs out with Nazis. according to this email, and you're listed as one of them here. So I'm a Mossad agent, a Zionist agent who is an anti-Semitic, meaning I must hate Palestinians. I do know some Palestinians.
You know,
I shop.
Gordon, let me stop you just for a moment to clarify something. I really don't give a shit who your great grandmother slept with. You know, I really don't.
Okay, Clay, I can tell you absolutely for sure, you're 2.3% Jewish. Okay?
Hey, I may have a little Negro blood.
It's 2.3% Jewish. That everybody in this country is 2.3% Jewish. Everybody is, and as for everyone else, frankly, there's a certain likelihood that hey, we looked at my family. My mother was 1/60th Cherokee Indian. You know, family came into Kentucky with Daniel Boone. The only thing there was to marry were into the Cherokee, and frankly, I find it if anything, if I have ethnic background compared to the majority Scottish background, the Cherokee Indian is probably the good part. If anything, it has to be the good part, for sure. Because at least they didn't paint themselves blue and kill people with rocks. Because the Scots absolutely did that. But anybody that comes from Europe, this was really interesting, that all of the Nordic people and all of the Khazarian Jews, the evil Khazarian Jews, all come from areas, settled from areas inside Russia, along the Volga River. So if you're a Norwegian, or your family is from Kiev, your name is Goldman or whatever, you came from exactly the same place in Russia. Everyone lived next to everyone else, and everyone had long interbred for hundreds of years, and were all pushed into Europe by pressures from Attila and Genghis Khan. And I see I've got another call coming in from, in this case, Spain. A banking organization that I'm going to actually probably not answer any of that, but yeah, but it's not the idea about people taking racial identification. Whether you're an Israeli claiming to have some imaginary biblical gift, or you're an American white supremacist or supremacist, as the invented word is. I think you're a lunatic, an absolute lunatic. And Clay, one of the few people that really has a very good view on the rights and decency of human beings in this world is you.
I don't care what religion you are. The Constitution protects you on that. The Bill of Rights protects you on that. You can be, if you want to get on your knees, stick your nose in the dirt and your ass up in the air. I'll even try to keep the Saint Bernard of you. If you want to bang your head against that wailing wall, knock yourself out, man. I'll watch. You know, and if you want to pray for a Cadillac, hey, I'll put in a good word with God so you don't drop it on top of your sorry ass. You know, I don't care what race you are. I don't like niggers, white or black. You know?
Yeah. I'm here on the other Skype right now, arranging for one of the African governments to make a multi-year purchase of Massey Ferguson tractors. We're talking thousands of them, which I'm banking for $950 million right now. Good. And I'm sending the highly confident letter and a copy of a standby letter of credit to Massey Ferguson. And then, good, yeah. This is...
By the way, I just put back into the same vein here, and just to keep us on track here, I just put up on my Facebook page. Yes, sir.
I'm actually here running the world. In this case, I'm making sure that people are able to produce food and live a decent life using those horribly Jewish banking skills I have. And the team I'm working with include the former German. I'm on with the former German trade representative to Russia, and he's sitting on the other Skype. Some of the people here are Jewish. All of the rest of them are African, totally and absolutely black, and most of them are in a long time close friends because I work in Africa, I work with Africans, and they make up my friends. You know, that's who they are. And people who don't like this stuff, I get so friggin' tired of it. The gun thing. You were asking me about guns earlier. I have at this gun buying stuff. I don't know. I'd like people buying more American guns. Now I just picked up a Springfield XD40 here yesterday, which is a nice weapon, but it's made in Croatia. Can you tell me why Springfield can't make guns in the United States?
They're being shut down. They're being bought out. George Soros is buying a lot of them. And oh, by the way, what I wanted to point out, folks, you know, I'm called a racist. I'm called a bigot. I'm called all that, and I just put up a black film talking about how the NRA is helping black people to during the whole Klan rally things to protect themselves by having guns, and they're speaking up for owning guns, and they say that this is they were pointing out this was an all black meeting here.
It's black people own guns. They've got guns, Clayton. You know. Yeah, it's not, they have guns.
Now, what
I'm here in the suburbs of Toledo, Ohio. I'm in Maumee, Ohio, and we are so gun loaded. I'm surprised that we haven't all fallen into a sinkhole here. You can't go into. I've got a Gander Mountain 500 yards away. It's got a line out the door. I've got a gun store a little ways on. I've got a Cabela's very close by. A Bass Pro Shop, a Dick's Sporting Goods. People are buying everything, and I'm sorry. I mean, it's first of all, Joe Biden, heaven forbid, his talk about shotgun for home defense. I've got some guys that talk online here, and I'm talking guns here, but I'm
okay. Let me.
I'm a weapons expert. And I train SWAT people, hostage rescue people, or now younger people who can roll around the floor, do more of that than I do. Since if I roll around the floor, 2 people have to come and pick me up. You know, but if I'm comfortably sitting in a chair at 25 meters, using the right weapon, I may or may not be able to hit a quarter with one shot. Used to be able to do it consistently. Now I don't know which pair of glasses to wear, frankly. You know, 'cause I won't see the quarter. I won't even see the front sight most of the time. You know, and if I'm using factory, a powerful factory load and a big enough caliber, and one of those nasty little compact pistols. Oh, let me go talk about.
All right. Well, let me stop you for just a second here. I need to. About the guns, it's my opinion here. First of all, there's all these child murders, child sacrifices from Waco on were psychological operations against Americans to get Americans to voluntarily give up their guns.
Yeah, good luck with that one.
Yeah, but now what I suspect they're going to do, based on history, based on comments from our presidents, based on the fact that back in the 30s, Franklin Delano Roosevelt made it illegal for you to own gold. You had to go turn it in. This was an executive decree, wasn't it? And then we've got Sandy Hook, we've got Columbine, we've got Oklahoma City, children killed. It's dangerous. We got to give up our guns, and I'm afraid that what is going to happen here, just like the gold in the 30s, Obama, who is already supposedly in the Supreme Court with his qualifications for president being checked, he signs an executive order making people that own guns turn them in or become criminals. I think that's what's going to happen. Now, please take it.
Who's talking about Obama having his qualifications checked?
I had heard that some of these court cases about his qualifications to be president had gone to the Supreme Court, but that may have been a rumor, and
Clay, that's the people who do this. That's I couldn't be happier than having Obama in the White House. I'm a huge Obama supporter.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I support Obama. I'm even finding, and now this is my surprise here, okay? I'm surprised that Kerry, who I don't trust, is not doing a bad job right now as Secretary of State. Not entirely good. But Chuck Hagel has taken control of the Department of Defense. Now, you do understand now that Obama has told the Israelis, and this is from the Ynet News in Israel, it was published in the Times of Israel and the Post, that Israel has to begin evacuating the West Bank, where they have illegally settled in the Palestinian state. They have 500,000 people there. They have to produce a timetable that we have begun removing sanctions. We started on March 3rd. We're 3 days into removing sanctions initially from Iran. That we had meetings in Kazakhstan with Iran, and we have officially recognized the 5.1 powers. That Iran's 20% nuclear enrichment is a medical program. It is officially recognized, but we're negotiating with them, and it's productive. I will tell you that Iran, and I write for Press TV and certainly appear on Press TV enough, and but I will say that they do love getting as much out of this as possible. I do advocate that people watch gun bills, but if you're going to watch any group, believe nothing you hear from the National Rifle Association. Another thing Tim White accused me of, I think, is that I don't like the National Rifle Association. Honestly, I'm a former lobbyist, and I know the National Rifle Association not to be really gun people. I know them to be lawyers. They are lobbyists, and that they do nothing but scaremonger, pretty much like the ADL does, to raise money. Because everybody in Washington is about having as many Mercedes and as big a house as you can, and looking on the rest of us like a pack of idiots. So they all play us. So part of the Washington Insider Group, the gun people and the anti-gun people eat lunch together all the time, and then they look out at us and giggle. I just got $20 million in from the gun manufacturers and a bunch of new members in the NRA, well, then you can buy lunch. And you said you wanted me to write some more crazy anti-gun legislation that we're going to break into everyone's house and take their guns. Yeah, do that. I can make another $20 million. Well, what do I get out of it? And though I have sat at the table while NRA people have met with their political enemies and asked them to write insane anti-gun legislation. That's how the NRA, which is a pack of lawyers, if we want to have a group. Now the NRA, for gun dealers, by the way, this is since I've got friends that are doing this now, they have some very good programs. I have to admit their defense of some groups I support, but in general, I would like to have a weapons owner group, and we have several around. You've got friends in that area that really represent the people and that are not Washington lobbyists and game players.
That would be Larry Pratt, who was listed on by the NRA as a bigot right beside me. Larry Pratt from Gun Owners of America. I'll have him back on my show shortly.
I support Larry Pratt and Gun Owners of America. I think American gun owners. You see, let's get clear about this. At least 15 million guns have been sold since Sandy Hook.
By the way, let me stop you just a second. Sandy Hook, from your information, that was an Israeli-backed retaliation for us supporting the West Bank thing that you talked about earlier. How about that?
Absolutely. That Sandy Hook was a terrorist attack. The young gentleman had nothing to do with it. There is so much evidence. You could drown in it. We know that multiple arrests have been made, just like after 9/11. I'm so tired of the lying. I'm so utterly tired of the lying. And one of the things that we're dealing with veterans today, we pushed inside. You know, we're affiliated with Rents. Of course, Jeff Rents sits on the board. Between Rents and our 62 websites at Veterans Today, we are now the largest news source on the internet in the world. The largest, larger than any of the networks.
Well, I need some help here. I've got Mystery Babylon, 500 pages of history of the Rothschild, Homeland Security Assessment, and Operation Watchtower, which Stu and I talked about yesterday. Operation Watchtower with Colonel Edward P. Catola. Did you ever get to meet him?
No, I have not.
He was commanding the Watchtower operation, building the radio towers to guide the planes into Albrook Air Force Base, where Barry Seal flew the cocaine that they brought in there up to a little protected airport called Mena, Arkansas. That's all in my book, Free America, and I was putting in a plug for that. If anybody makes a donation, if anybody hears this show, and I will try to get this up on Veterans Today, and they make a donation to Clay at freeamerican.com, I'll send you a PDF of my 500-page book, Mystery Babylon, that they have tried to block, that they've tried to keep me from publishing, and I have that in hard copy and PDF. They haven't been able to do that. And I still like to get the young man, or the man, he's old now, that worked for Colonel Catola, and is still in Walpole Prison. They murdered his wife and framed him for the murder. That's William Tyree, who worked on the whole thing, the Operation Watchtower and Operation George Orwell, to silence anybody that knew about Operation Watchtower. Liberty, that's all in Mystery Babylon, the New World Order Unveiled, folks. And my guest today is Gordon Duff. We've been interrupted a couple of times here. Actually, they shut down the whole internet. Did you get disconnected too, Gordon?
No, I don't. I've got a direct fiber line. I'm always online anyway, and if the internet was disconnected, I'd look at it as a privilege. I don't need to be in contact with people. You know, I'd smash my mobile phone and unplug the internet at any time, because 95% of what it delivers is absolute garbage anyway. I don't need the endless emails. And recently, a couple of things I had to debunk. I'm trying to think what they are now. We had, let's say, during the inauguration, I had a bunch of emails stating that the Marines were disarmed because they were going to kill the president while he stood on the dais. Well, the president led the inaugural parade outside his car. He walked down the middle of the street. And for anybody that doesn't know, Since 1953, even the police in the inaugural parades are carrying rubber guns. That none of the military that have been in these parades for that long have used anything but ceremonial rifles. You go to the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, you've got a chrome-plated weapon there that's the bolt has been welded on. Nobody carries live weapons around Washington. No one, inaugural or not. And during the inauguration, the police are not armed. An utterly phony story that came out from WorldNet Daily, I think, which is another.
That's another Jewish pro-Israel. What? Give me your opinion on it. I didn't mean to interrupt. I met Joe Farr. I know Joe Farr, and I've been studying WorldNet Daily, and it's one of those Sarah Palin things. Let's bomb Iran. Let's Go ahead.
Oh, it's all, and you can't call things Israeli because there are lots of people living in Israel. As few Palestinians as possible since they've been murdered or pushed out of the country. And currently we have a fight within the government, the Knesset. Israel had a free election, which they don't often have. Netanyahu is unable to form a government. We have people on the left and right. Netanyahu is moving toward the center. He knows that he's going to have to at least try to make it look like he's withdrawing from the occupied territories, because settling, if you have a war, the 1967 war, was a sneak attack like Pearl Harbor on the Egyptians. There was no Egyptian attack and the Israelis fighting back. That's all fiction. The territories that were seized and that Israel still controls and has settled people in is in violation of the Fourth Geneva Convention and is a war crime. You can't take land. Hey, that's what Hitler was charged with doing. You can't do it. And so they have to leave. And the President of the United States has said, I can actually, you've got that story available somewhere. I probably ought to dig it up here if I can find that. That may be. Let's see.
I want to bring something else. Ask you about something else. You're pretty much on the top of it in banking. I've just put a link to a Motley Fool video that they put out. It's actually a sales pitch for their to get to subscribe to their newsletter, but they give pretty good investment advice, and what they're talking about right now is something that could the way I think the link on the article was the end of the made in China, and they're talking about a new technology called 3D printing, which you can make a gun with your computer, and I'm not sure.
Yeah, you can do that. I will tell you that I'm not sure that the barrel made out of the materials that a 3D printer uses, I wouldn't want to fire it twice. But yes, you can.
But it's more than that. I mean, it's more than just weapons. It's a matter of you can make, plastic arms. You can make almost any product out of one of these 3D printers. That would
have been around for a while. One of there are two things about the Chinese. I guess you can damn them for taking our jobs, but I worked in manufacturing as a defense manufacturer, Magnatech Corporation. Mostly building things for the Navy, anti-submarine warfare stuff. I'm an engineer, and in building things for the Department of Defense, it's typically required to have people who do cable assemblies, board assembly, have to be certified military grade solderers, and we reached a point eventually where we didn't have enough trained military-grade solderers here, and board assembly began moving overseas. Well, what we've gotten into now is that we're having so many assemblies for American weapons, American planes, American drones, are using chips made out of China, counterfeit chips, that have allowed the Chinese or any of their friends to gain control of any of our weapons simply by hacking into our radio frequencies, tying into the back door on our chips, and they can operate any of our systems. And I can't tell you it doesn't include our missile defense systems, submarines, tanks. It absolutely includes the RQ-70 drone that landed on a highway in Iran. That, by the way, they've offered to veterans today that whenever they catch a U.S. drone, they're offering it to us so that we can put it on our eBay account.
Now, these drones, by the way, the story was that some airliner coming in for a landing had a close encounter or near encounter with a drone. I mean, if these things are being put in the air, who's driving them? Well, I don't feel very comfortable about that, and I think that's along with the just a moment,
a 30-incher with four props on it. I can't say who it belonged to, who would be flying in the area of New York City. It's not a Homeland Security drone. I would think it belongs to a foreign intelligence service. There are several that could have been doing this. Or there are no terrorists. There just aren't very many. Most terrorism is run by intelligence agencies. Most, but not all. There have always been bad people out there. It's just that we need a reasonable balance to gain control of this, because phony terrorism has been used as an excuse. Certainly, 9/11 was a case of phony terrorism. If you think you can crash an airplane into a large steel-framed office building and do any appreciable damage at all, you're absolutely bonkers, totally bonkers. If you believe that, I'm going to sell you a vacant lot at the bottom of the Atlantic with a view. It's going to have a water view. You'll be able to sit in your lot, and I guarantee you, you'll be able to see water pretty much anywhere. Breathe it too, for that matter. And some of the areas that we're offering lots on are so deep that you won't even find fish down there. So you'll be safe. And you can, but you better worry about underwater airliners hitting you, because that's a real problem.
Now, all of this, the bankers make the money off of both sides. They fund both sides, don't they?
Hey, I'm a banker. I
know that.
Money off both
I know
sides.
that. I'm still talking to you, though. I'm not going to hold it against you.
That's my job.
But what are we looking at here? What do they want to? They are poisoning us, Gordon. Now there's also, they got the drones up in the air. They're using them. The police departments are going to use them, so you can't tell a drone by the colors on its back any more than you can tell who's flying the chemtrails, because all their logos are on the top of the plane.
You know, I've got Jim Fetzer on others. I'm running 4 Skypes, so if I sound scattered, I'm running 4 conversations. Now, we had a story here hit day before yesterday that Homeland Security is getting a hold of all of the Marine Corps' former vehicles, and they're going to be using them in the United States as armored vehicles.
I saw that. So, that's what I was trying to bring up, so you beat me to it there.
Yeah, so here's what we're doing, basically. We're and I wanted Jim to do this yesterday. He says he's going to do it this morning. I'm doing a little. I'm an editor. It's my job. He's an editor, actually. But when stories come up, I have no problem with calling the Department of Defense, the Secret Service, the Marine Corps, Homeland Security, and I want to hear what they've got to say. And it either makes sense or it doesn't. but I'll print it because that's what the press used to do. Now, an issue I have, and this is why we should